Hey y'all!
Save it for the podcast. Apparently,
how y'all doing? We already recorded.
I know. Can't say nothing.
It's been so long. It's so good to see you, my little family.
Nothing at all. Just talking. I ain't thought about us in 2 weeks.
We had some birthdays.
What are you talking about?
Celebrated some birthdays. Janessa turned 34. Mm-hmm. Terry turned 41,
412. That's it. No, 42.
42.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, I can't wait till we start. And we hear about celebrations. We hear about your last 2. Wait, did y'all record the last 2 weeks?
We did. Yeah.
Can't wait to hear about that.
We called it.
Glad to know you watched it.
We called it the worst of the worst ones.
You didn't even put in the chat. I'm looking for the chat. You didn't even. I guess y'all had your own little separate chat. You didn't even put it in the worst ones chat.
I just said it. Yeah, I just texted directly to him.
Well, we're men. We just showed up when we were supposed to, and that was it. And we just did it.
You didn't even put it in the chat that y'all were meeting.
We didn't have to put it in the chat.
Well, we didn't show up, huh?
No, he put the links in the chat.
No. I just texted directly to you.
You sent me the links by text?
By text message. Mm-hmm. The last 2 weeks.
You don't even remember.
I don't even pay attention to that kind of stuff. I just show up. If I say I'm going to be somewhere sometime, I just show up, and that's that.
So, okay. What are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about y'all. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Figuring out if we back or not. Shit.
Yeah. Trying to figure out if we have a podcast left or not. Yeah.
Who want to pray?
Well, let's first start with this. Boom shot.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
You know, that theme song only lasts about 15 seconds. I don't know how Kelly always disappears during the themes. Like, it's so quick. You know, it's so quick. Like, where does she go? She's like a ninja.
Yeah. I don't think she plans on coming back. I think that's what it is. That was the exit stage left. All right. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones podcast. And welcome back, Kelly Lee. To literally to the screen, not to the whole thing. We are preacher's kids. We potentially still have a podcast rocking in these streets.
Might. Who knows?
My name is Rudy Wilson. Rudy of all trades to some. The youngest on my mama and my daddy's side, which I really people don't believe me. Got Kelly Lee. She's the youngest on her mama and her daddy's side.
That's true.
Janessa used to be the youngest on her mama and her daddy's side.
That is very true.
Until DJ stole the show. And Terry, you the youngest?
I'm the youngest of my mother's children.
So the youngest on his mama's side.
Yeah, but my dad had 2 others that are now younger. So yeah,
I'm the youngest on both sides.
My daddy got quit bragging.
My daddy got 4 kids. My mama got 2, and I'm the only boy. Anyways,
all right.
I'm the golden child, baby. Anyways, so yeah, man. Well, so Terry, I'm gonna start with you, ask you how you doing, and then I'll say how I'm doing, and then once we get to Janessa and Kelly, how y'all doing? We can just go right into it. So Terry Wayne, how you been, man? Talk to us.
A lot of stress recently, a lot of problems. Yeah, you know, I told you guys my father's been having health problems for a while. They pretty much gave him, you know, he's seen probably, I don't know, 15 doctors over the last 3 years, and every test you can possibly imagine. But so they sent him to some big, you know, advanced nuclear MRI test thing, and and they gave us the diagnosis. Basically, like they gave us one of three things. It's and it's Parkinsonism, is what it's called. The one that they're looking at the most is idiopathic Parkinsonism, which everybody knows what Parkinson's is. Michael J. Fox has, but Parkinsonism is in the same family, but it's a different thing, and it's a lot more serious. Right. So it's a degenerative neurological thing, probably set off by him when he got COVID, most likely. I shared an article with him that came out of Harvard Medical School that showed a link between COVID and Parkinson's. So we're all wrapping our heads around that. But the good news is that out of the three options, they think it's the least invasive one, the least the least effective on your quality of life. So, I mean, because there's another one that called PSP that mimics ALS. It's very similar to ALS, where you lose all motor function, you lose all neurological function until basically you're just in a chair like Stephen Hawking until your body forgets how to breathe. So we were all terrified, at least me, I was terrified of that one. So was he. But it looks like it's at this point there's three options. So all they can do, there's no tests for them. All they can do is treat to try and nail down the diagnosis. So over the next 6 months, he'll be on one medication. If he responds to it, they'll say, all right, that's got to be it. If he doesn't, they'll move him to another medication. If he responds to that, they'll say that's it. And if he doesn't, they'll move on to the third one. And they're just going to treat to diagnose, essentially. But he's in good spirits. I'm in good spirits. Everything is, for the situation, nobody wants to be in it. Obviously, nobody asked for this. You wouldn't order it on a menu. But out of the options that it could possibly be, this is one of the better ones. So we're all trying to stay positive.
Did we ever pray to open
yes.
it?
Oh, yeah. No.
No, I know we prayed for your father, but I know we
were supposed to pray. Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead, Kelly.
Okay. I didn't want to pray.
Well, then why'd you bring it up?
Right,
I want somebody to pray. Just not me.
I think it should be you.
Well, I mean, you did bring it up, and it's not a common thing.
My head is bowed, my eyes are closed.
Sure.
We'll do a short one. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us all back together after these 2 weeks that we've had apart, Lord. Dear God, I pray that as we embark upon this podcast today, Lord, that you will lead us and guide us in the direction in which you think that we should go in terms of continuing on this journey of the worst ones, Lord. We also continue to lift up Terry's father to you, Lord. You know all things, even when we don't understand, Lord. And we thank you that the diagnosis that was given was the least evasive, Lord. Dear God, again, watch over us, keep us, protect us, open our minds, open our hearts to what's next, Lord. Thank you for all that you've done. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
And by the way, I just, now that you said that, in the prayer there, he did have a little conflict there with his faith. Okay. But at the end of it, the last time I talked to him, he says, you know what? I've trusted God for 50 years. I'm going to keep trusting even if it kills me. Literally. He's saying, even if it kills me, I'm going to stick with it. Because, yeah. So, I mean, to me, that was a huge testament when I talked to him. I was like, wow, here's a guy stuck in this situation. And he's saying, well, basically, he's like, I'm all in on this thing. So I'm all in on God. So even if it literally kills me, I'm still going to trust it. So.
And that's difficult to do too.
It is. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's tough and strong until you're in the lion's den.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Then you find out who you really are. Well, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe you should have finished with me.
Well, no, because I mean, it's not like it's something we haven't talked about before. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, it's but,
yeah. No,
yeah.
that's just the update.
Yeah.
So, but they got him on meds. He's starting to feel a little bit better. He still gets what they call frozen gait. You know, where he gets stuck and he can't move. You know, like he'll just be walking to get a cup of coffee or something. And he just get frozen and he can't move for a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the medication, he says, is starting to help. He's starting to figure it out. So, I mean, as news goes, it's the best we could have hoped for.
Gotcha. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Praise God, anyways. Thank you for the prayer, Kelly Lee. I'm chilling. I don't know if since y'all, or at least Kelly already admitted she didn't watch the episodes. Janessa, I ain't even gonna put you on the spot. We just gonna believe God that you did, okay? But I went to a wedding during that time period at some point. I guess that was last weekend or the weekend before, whenever. March 18th, whenever that was the wedding day. One of my line brothers got married, so that was dope. That was lit.
Where was the wedding?
We said where?
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah, that as far as like updates, that was pretty much all I gave as far as what y'all missed. Other than that, I was just saying I'm good, and
I hear there's a lot of single ladies at weddings. Did you find one?
No, actually. I mean, I definitely interacted with single women, but did I find one?
You didn't exchange information. Continue on.
Rudy has impossibly high standards.
No, it ain't that. I think I'm just harder to deal with than me dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Rudy don't need no woman. That's what he's saying.
No, I ain't saying that at all. I'm just saying I think I'm harder to deal with them because I'm very easygoing. So however somebody is, I can pretty much take it. But a lot of people, they like me externally, but then they get to know me and they don't,
Oh, you said you cute.
They'd be a lot to deal with. Well, I don't think I'm the finest person in the world, but I don't think I'm ugly either.
He said,
yeah.
I think I'm okay. At least a 6.
Well, hey,
that was my line number.
They're very
at least a 6.
Yeah, at least a 6.
Most people at least go 7.
But that's what I'm saying. But I
I would say I'm a 7. Like
most people, you say 7. 7 like to say.
Physically, I'm a 7, but like ability wise, I'm a 10 for sure, 100%.
What type of ability are we talking about here?
All of them. I don't know. I'm smart. I can do a bunch of stuff. That's my role. That's my role. I know that. Like, what would they would define it as capable. Whatever you want me to do, I can do. And I owe that to the Bible and a lesson my father taught me when I was young. There's a verse in the Bible that says, whatever you find your hands to do, do it with all your might. That stuck with me for so long. So I was like, yeah, if you're going to do it. Because then I had my grandfather on the other side. He was like, he gave me all the old man lessons, like do it right or do it twice or, anything worth doing is worth doing well, stuff like that. So I think that's a lot of my, social credit, I guess, or attractiveness to women. It comes like Rudy said, but the opposite, where it's like at first I'm abrasive, but then you get to know me and it's like, wow, this dude can do a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And I think that's why the ladies like me.
The ladies, gotcha. This man's a Mac out here. Okay.
Well, I used to be. I'm married now.
Right. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I'm locked down now. But
so yeah, I went to a wedding. It was lit. We had a good time. That was my first time actually being in a wedding as an adult, which sucks. Not because it's expensive. Like, expensive.
It's so stupid. Wedding stuff for everybody,
I mean,
including the bride and groom.
Don't get me wrong. The actual wedding and the reception, the way it played out, that was lit. But I'm saying, like being in the wedding and having to just say pay for all of that stuff and that and just whatever, like especially for somebody like me who I had to hustle for every penny. I don't have like a consistent every bi-weekly paycheck coming in. So I'd be telling niggas like I could be in your wedding, but don't invite me to none of the bachelor parties. Y'all going to DR. I can't go.
You didn't do any of that for this one?
They wasn't even in town for that.
Can't go.
Oh man.
They was talking about all the where to get your suits from and stuff. I responded that in the group chat. Soon they was like DR. I just politely just back out. That's not my conversation.
Oh,
I ain't gonna be there.
Yeah, you ain't missing much, man. I've been to a bunch of those things. You ain't missing much. It's a typical debauchery, and that's.
I mean, even if it was Bible study, I missed it either way. So
yeah.
But I mean, I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I'm just saying, like, I had to pay enough for the suit, and because we bought those suits, they wasn't even rented. Like, we had to buy them suits. And
really? Oh.
So everything we wore was bought, paid for. So
by you?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Is it a nice suit? Like, I hate when they do that and then they give you like a suit that you would never wear again.
Yeah. No. It's a nice suit. I mean, it definitely is it's definitely a formal suit. I don't know if I can really see myself in it, just like rocking it as definitely not a business suit. I'm gonna just say that. Like, it's definitely. I could probably wear it to somebody else's wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, but not to just like go to an interview or something like that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But even a mid-level men's suit like that, you're talking $500 to $1,000, somewhere usually in that range. I don't know what he paid for his.
No. We paid closer to like $300.
300? Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like I don't know what your friend does, but like. Normally, if you got to buy a well-made,
his suit might have been closer to that range because his was totally different than what we was wearing. My first wedding, my suit was about $1,000. Yeah. I'm saying
I still have it. I'm too fat to wear it.
His was probably that much. His was probably that much for sure. Because his was completely different than ours. Like he showed out.
Yeah,
we look regular standing.
I want to see some pictures.
I got a compilation video on my Facebook page.
Okay, we friends on Facebook?
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
Having been married twice, the first one doing the whole wedding thing and everything, and then the second one just driving to New Orleans and eloping. I gotta go with option B there, Your Honor. Like,
what about your wife though?
But that's also you get married for the second time though.
No, but it's her first time, but it was her idea. She's like, I don't want to.
Okay.
Wait.
No, I'm trying to see who echoing.
Oh,
it's Janessa.
Oh, well, she's like, I don't want to waste thousands of dollars on a party for our friends. Like that's because that's all essentially it is. I had a very traditional wedding the first time. And it was just a waste of money. Like everybody there had a good time. You know who didn't? Me and my first wife. We didn't have a good time at all because it's like a job at that point. Like you're trying to take care of everything. You're trying to make sure everybody else is all right. I would never encourage.
Did you have a wedding planner?
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, she was Catholic, so everything was pretty much handled by the church on the wedding side.
Gotcha.
And then we did a reception, but this was in Germany. We did this. Yeah, because she's German. So, but they're used to doing stuff like that. So it's not a huge affair. But no, they spent $10,000 on it. Her parents did, and what I wouldn't give just to have that $10,000 back and not have to deal with any of that nonsense.
I want a wedding. Do you want a wedding, Janessa? I want a wedding. It doesn't have to be big.
I do want to have a wedding. When I was younger, I wanted to have a huge wedding. Now, I go back and forth between wanting to have it. I used to want to have it in my grandmother's backyard, like something small, and intimate like that.
You guys sold that house, right?
Yeah.
But you're still having a wedding. When you say, do you want to have a wedding?
Well,
When I married Miranda just recently, a few months ago, we had a wedding. It was a wedding. But you know what? To be honest with you, having experienced both ones, the one that meant the most to me was the most recent one, because there was no family. There was no friends. There was no anybody. There was no photographer. There was no this. There was no caterers, no this, no that. But that's what made it special. It was just me and her getting married. That's it. It wasn't about anything else or anybody else.
Understood.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
But if I don't want gifts for Christmas, I'm the Grinch. But this nigga don't even want to give his wife a wedding. You know what I'm saying? Y'all picky and choosy as hell. I'm the Grinch because I don't want a gift. But he's sitting there like, fuck all y'all coming to my wedding. It's just me and her. And then we like, oh, well, I guess we can.
You are not going to hang me out to dry like this. The whole thing was her idea. She picked New Orleans. She picked the date. It's
not about that. I'm talking about what was in your heart, though. Even if she didn't want that, you still would have desired that. You preferred that.
You were like,
no,
you preferred that.
Specifically, no, I didn't.
You just said that was the better wedding. You just
it
said,
is now
yeah,
that
that's your preference.
Done,
okay,
well,
so
now that it's done and over.
But
I also sat her down and said, "Are you sure this is your? You've never been married before. This is your opportunity to be center of attention. This is your opportunity to be, get dressed up and do this and that." And she said, "No, I just don't want it."
We get it. All right, let's get to business. Okay.
All right. Well, and that's fine too.
Let's get to business.
Start with Janessa.
Are we back for good? Let's enough with all the chitter chatter. All right, we've been doing this for 20 minutes. Okay.
We always do it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but we also then move on to a topic that you give us at the last minute. But right now, we've been waiting on this for 2 weeks. This is a topic that is long overdue.
But I wanted to hear
the fans
how the
want to
podcast
know.
went without us. Did y'all argue? Did y'all?
It's the same when y'all was here. Just me and Terry talking about it.
Ooh, thank you. I just asked the Lord for a sign. That may have been it. That may have been it. Shady.
What we talk about?
I'm saying, but I'm not saying that towards y'all. I'm saying because how y'all always say we always take over. So I'm saying like it's that. I mean, whether it's your sign or not, that's between you and God. I'm just saying.
We use the opportunity to talk about God and comedy and religion and comedy since it was just us. And then I can't remember what we talked about 2 weeks ago.
The first one was about pastors watching movies and all that.
Yeah, that's right. What
the Players Club and all that shit.
What's okay for them to consume? What's on your Netflix list? Yeah, I remember.
That actually sounds pretty good.
And they both was an hour plus. At least.
I'm sure. 2 hours.
and that's what I'm saying. Like it was.
Yeah, I really don't. Like you said, you really don't need. I don't speak for Janessa.
I ain't gonna say we didn't need y'all because it ain't. I ain't say it was. Somebody.
Well, there was definitely
somebody probably listen to that hour and get annoyed. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we were talking the whole time. I didn't say it was the best thing. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we didn't say it was
I'm gonna keep you on mute while you're not talking because you're making all of us echo. Whatever your microphone is. No, Kelly, you good.
Kelly, you're fine.
It's Janessa, because as soon as I mute her, it's gonna go away.
Yeah.
Nobody's. So, but when you talking, you good, but we can hear you clearly. But it just whenever we talking, your microphone pick us up and it just go. But yeah. So, ladies, what's poppin'? How y'all been? How was the break?
Well, I guess it's me.
It is you.
The break was good. 2 Wednesdays ago, I went to go see Elle Varner in concert. Janessa is Frozen, actually.
She's not Frozen.
Oh no, that's how she looked.
Like
she probably can't hear.
Yeah, she can hear.
I went to go see Elle Varner, a little R&B artist. So that was nice at City Winery. This past Wednesday, I went to a trampoline workout class.
Are these all dates?
No.
I'm saying like the El Barner who.
I went with a girlfriend, a coworker.
But is my man still in the picture?
He is still here.
All right, I'm rooting for him now.
Oh, a survivor. All right.
He's still here. I just saw him actually.
Okay.
I asked him his thoughts on the podcast. He was like, I can't tell you that. I was like,
really?
Because he ain't watched it.
Well, I asked him if should I leave, and he was like, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you what's important to you and what you're passionate about. What does your heart say? But
that nigga don't like this shit.
He didn't watch it. That's why he said I can have my opinion.
He definitely doesn't watch it.
Yeah, because he didn't watch it.
He did. No, he did watch it. He just don't watch it no more after that.
He didn't watch it. But so yeah. And then other than that, work is busy time. March Madness for me until May. So I literally, when I walked in, when you texted me, I was literally just walking in the house.
When you say March Madness, do you mean literally college basketball?
No, I just know March Madness is
okay.
Yeah, so no.
I thought maybe you was like working at the stadium part time or some shit. What I'm like, the hell?
No.
FAU in the Final Four. What's up?
My own March Madness. So things have been cool. Things have been good. I will say this. In terms of are we back for good? If I'm going to keep my word, I have not read Terry's book yet.
That's what happens.
I was supposed to read the first 6 chapters.
Terry's book is so bad. It made Kelly say no.
It's pretty bad, yeah. I'll be honest with you.
No, I'm looking forward to it. So if I keep that word, then I can't leave. I will say though, I actually do want to listen to I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you, because you didn't put it in the chat. So I didn't even think about you and Terry doing it.
I know.
But I do want to hear it because I think for the last 2 weeks I kind of completely disconnected. And I did kind of have feelings of like, I just feel like it's unfair. Like I kind of said last time, like I feel like that I bring down and not single-handedly, but I bring down some of the energy because I'm not always giving 100%. And I don't want to do that. Of course, I love you guys. I love showing up. I was super excited. Didn't know how excited I was going to be when you guys popped on the screen. But I will say I'm not as invested as I could be. I should be. And I don't know how to get there. So I really
that's honest.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
That's honest.
Yeah. And I don't want to just show up every week because I enjoy seeing you three. I do want to say at one point though, whether we decide to
Why not?
Huh?
Why not? That seems like a pretty good reason.
Because then I'm still gonna be just the dry once we get to minute 45 of the podcast, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. And I think that's when it becomes for me the Rudy and Terry show, because I get into it and then it's like 45 minutes in and it's 8:00 and I'm tired and I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I've always hated when we used to have clips. And you could tell that like somebody wasn't paying attention or somebody wasn't invested, or, like I feel like that's not a good representation, and even when you on mute.
Or when Terry and Janessa was arguing and you was covered at the salon with the I used to just kind of eyes like, what's going on?
That was dedication. First of all, my hair appointment went a little long.
I was like, what type of hair appointment? What is this? Like, she literally, all you see is eyes.
Hair appointment went a little long. But again, back to that space. And I don't know if I've ever given 100%, to be honest, but there was a space where let me log in from my hair appointment, because I wanted to show up. I wanted to be here. And yeah, like I said, I just don't want to feel like I'm bringing it down. And so I guess I'll say this in closing right now. For me, the every week Wednesday at 7:30, I don't think works for me anymore. If we look at some other options, a different day of filming or, or whatever, then I may be open, but I don't think the Wednesday at 7:30 works. And I think
is it the day and the time? Is it just the day? Keep the same time? Is it?
I don't know. I guess we have to throw it out there. I think when I think about summers, so I'm counting down to my summer break. And I can't even remember what last summer looked like, but wanting having to rearrange my schedule or figure out my schedules to do Wednesday at 7:30, I think I'm not gonna want to do.
Well, that's fair. But again, whatever day, whatever time it is, it's always going to be an hour we're going to have to carve out of our weekly schedule.
True.
So yeah, like we could be flexible and just move things around and say different day, different time that works better for everybody. But you know, it's always going to come back to what you put into it. You know, reap what you sow, and you know,
Agree.
whatever we put into it, that's what we're going to get out of it.
I agree. And I did get one thing because again, I've been especially. Man, how do you say the word, Terry?
Especially.
ESP. What is it?
Especially.
Especially.
Mm-hmm.
Especially.
Yeah, there's no X in it.
It's in these last few days. And I think one thing that got me kind of excited, I was talking to one of my friends last night, and she's a social media strategist, and she was just talking to me about her own social media. But she was saying that, yeah, she was like, you know, I had posted this post, and she was talking about the algorithm, and Twitter had kind of not wanted to talk to anyone. But her point was, the way she was able to get likes and some of her followers back was her engaging with other pages. And I said, you know what? I said, there's something that we've never done. I said, we may have posted and, you know, did some links. And I know we wanted, you know, I think at one point Janessa had spoke to Sarah Jakes Roberts. I said, but to really like engage with other people, I said, there's something that we never did. And I was just like, and that may be something that can really change the game, you know, as we really start following people. Because even when I look at just the difference in the algorithms on my page and the kind of things that kind of show up and what I may have listened, what I may have watched, or what somebody may have sent me, or one little thing, like for some reason, I'm gonna tell y'all this real randomly. For some reason, for a day or two, I was getting all of these polyamorous, poly relationship posts. And I'm like, now how do I get this on my page? Not sure, but I kept getting those type of posts. But I was thinking like, man, maybe if we interacted with more people, they sent it, then, you know, we may start gaining some more followers and some more attention. So that was something for me that was like, oh shoot, I think I want to try that before I leave. But yeah, but at the same time, I said I do think the Wednesdays at 7:30 are difficult for me. And even if we did some other time and we did 2 hours and knocked out 2, and we only did 2 times a month, I'm open to that as well. But the way it currently looks, I'm not. It's difficult for me.
That's fine. That's fine. I think I guess just to speak directly to that, I've never been against any day or whatever. Like, it's just, you know, I think whatever day we always settled on, you know, like it was okay. And even doubling up and all that when we've done it before during the holidays, all that stuff is fine with me. So if in fact that is just the issue or the only issue or whatever, I see no problem with that. If there's more, even to, like you said, the fact of just wanting to be here or whatever the case may be, then that's a whole different discussion. But as far as the scheduling, I'm saying I'm with all that.
That is, yeah. I mean, I said that's a barrier.
Right.
I think one of the big when I tried to unpack barriers, that was a bigger one that I'm like, I may feel differently if it isn't every week Wednesday evenings. Because like I said, with work, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, you know, and so I just feel like I just don't get in that engaged. Unless there's like a really riveting topic and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And this is, you know, awakened me. But some other times I think that's when I let y'all have it.
Gotcha. Okay. Jay Rihanna, how art thou?
I'm pretty good. Well, you know, that's a default response because I'm tired. I'm stressed today. I just have a final project due Sunday, but I also fly to Miami Sunday.
Because you're going to, where are you going?
Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. And technically the week I'm gone is the last week of the semester, so technically I have an assignment due next week, but I'm trying to do everything this week. And then like pack and, you know, hair and nails and all of that. Clearly I look crazy right now because I haven't done any of it. So yeah, I've just kind of been doing a lot. And then of course, I think I told y'all I started strength training. And if you know anything about Atlanta, I drive from Decatur to Fayetteville in the mornings. Yes, girl. So it's just like my body is physically tired. And then my mind is a little bit tired. But I think after I come back from vacation, you know, I'll be a little bit more rejuvenated. But right now I'm just kind of winging it. But for my birthday, real quick, I did have a really good birthday. Usually I do a lot of different things, but because I had this trip coming up, and I just kind of wanted to do some things low key this year, so I did. I went to a candle making class, which was really fun. And if you know me, you know I'm Sammy's biggest fan. Y'all tell him so he will know. But I'm Sammy's biggest fan, and the place that was where we had the candle making class, I didn't know, but he has a candle line in that business sells his candles. So, you know, I'm kind of like, oh, you know, oh my gosh, I didn't know, such a fan, whatever. And the owner, I'm assuming she's the owner, she was like, what size do you wear? And so I told her, and she was like, she came back out and she had a Sammy sweatshirt, and it's like, it said, but I was her first crush or something like that. And it has his picture from his first album. And she gave it to me as a birthday gift. And so we did like a little boomerang in front of his candle display, and she posted it on his website and tagged him in it. And y'all, he liked the post.
Terry looking like, who is Sammy, first of all?
Right.
I don't. Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'll send you a playlist.
He's a legend.
I don't know what's going on.
He's a childhood legend.
Legend.
All right.
But yeah, he liked the post, and I was just like,
meet him at the finish line. So he can tell you.
I mean, I can understand what you're saying. I don't know who this person is, but I'm a big Tennessee Titans fan, always have been since they started. And one time I posted on Twitter a picture. I was watching a Titans game, and I was wearing my Eddie George jersey, and then Eddie George liked it, who's a famous running back, or was a famous running back for Tennessee. And I was like, yeah, I get it. So I get the excitement. I'm like, oh my God, Eddie George liked my post, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure it was just, I'm sure it was just a notification, just, you know.
And everybody all my friends tell me I don't need to wear the sweatshirt outside the house, but please believe I wear my Sammy sweatshirt to the gym and other places. So
you should have worn it tonight.
I should have, maybe next week. And then also one of my friends got me tickets to the Jonathan McReynolds concert next month, which I'm really excited about because that's my other bae. So I get to see all my little crushes.
Does PJ know about this? I mean, this is a lot going on here, ain't it?
The crazy thing though, Rudy, is we saw PJ just a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
So I was just like, I just saw. I literally did see all my lifelong crushes. I saw PJ Morton, Sammy, and Jonathan McReynolds.
Triple scoop ice cream.
Must be my year. So yeah, birthday was good.
Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. Follow us on Instagram at The Worst Ones PK. New content coming soon. We also have a TikTok at The Worst Ones PK. No content yet, but continue to check us out. if you want to, no, when you listen to our podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Just make sure you type in the Worst Ones podcast and you'll find us. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you to our 500,422 followers. We love you so much. Now, back to the show.
Now, in terms of this podcast, I already told y'all how I felt. I'm good on the podcast. It was just the structure that needs to be a little bit different. I agree with Kelly. If we could do a different day, maybe a different time, that would be cool. If we want to do a couple of episodes a day, that would be cool because then we don't have to record every week. That would free up a day because I will say there have been some opportunities I've had and some things that I wanted to do Wednesdays at 7:30 that I've said no to because I was committed to this. So, being able to have a little bit more flexibility if we're doubling up or whatever, that would be cool. And then also I think if we could figure out how to do it, maybe integrating some, what do we call it? Segments, maybe.
Segments, yeah.
That would help expand our topics, the things we talk about, and maybe like the things that are, even like some of the stuff that's still on your list, Terry, that when you came up with topics the first time, those can still be a part of the conversation, but it might not be an hour's worth of a conversation. That might just be a segment
sometimes,
worth.
yeah.
I like that too.
So that way, we still might, we're not wasting anybody's efforts and stuff.
I'm thinking like Saturday early afternoon, right? Everybody's cool. That's a very chill time, for most people. I know that Rudy would be free. There's no shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that kills that, because nobody's funny in the daytime. And, I like to think that like, then we can come in and just be real and be calm and, it's not so stressful. It's not a weekday. It's not a work day,
And I think it may be better. I'm fine with that, especially if we do more than one at a time.
Sure. Yeah.
You said Saturday,
that's how
Saturday morning we talk about? This is Saturday you talking about?
No, I said Saturday early afternoon. So like Saturday morning. Well, I'm just saying like Saturday at like noon, everybody's rested, everybody's had their breakfast, everybody's good, nobody has to work, it's calm. You could film 2 or 3 of these, back to back, which is how most successful podcasts are done. If you look at like Rogan's or Your Mom's House or Two Bears, One Cave, any of the podcasts that I follow, they film multiple episodes in the same day. The only difference is like they'll change their wardrobe between each one. So it doesn't look the same.
We've already done this, guys. I don't know why we're talking about it.
But we haven't done it consistently.
No, we're talking about
we know the format.
Yeah, but we're talking about making it structured at this point.
We all have faux shorts.
I will say this. On the episode that we put out, I went back and watched it, the one that we put out 3 weeks ago, where it says, are we going to still have a podcast? We have one comment on YouTube. And the only comment we have is you guys are a really niche, you have a really niche kind of perspective on things, and I love it, and I watch it all the time, and you should keep going. And
that's also my mother.
Right, I was like, who wrote it?
I know it's your mother.
I was like, who wrote it? Because I told Risa to go on there.
It doesn't matter. It's still a good point. We do have a very niche.
Right, because I seen Miss Larnell on your other podcast giving her thoughts. I'm like, oh, look at Miss Larnell.
I'm going to have her on my other podcast.
The only reason I'm laughing is because I text Miss Larnell today. So it's like,
absolutely.
And she texted me back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was her. That was her comment.
I didn't. Miss Larnell texted me the other week. I didn't respond back. I responded in my head. I didn't respond in text message. She told Risa on me. Risa texted me like, yo, my mama been trying to reach you.
What's happening?
I like, my bad.
Stop playing. She gonna come. She
Right.
gonna find you. Especially you. You been around way too long. She done known
And
your
I
whole
literally
family. Yeah.
I responded in my head. I went to go do what she asked me to do. I just
Right.
never said that I was going
Right.
to do what you asked me to do.
You know she coming straight to Reese.
Honey, my mama said she been looking for you.
Right. Tell Kelly Lee.
I like, my bad. Let me take Miss Larnell back right now.
You know damn well. She done seen my text.
But Miss Larnell, I went to go and do what you asked me to do. I went to go check my resources.
I will say this though. You know, all the just say bells and whistles we've kind of shined up so far sounds great, but the biggest part that we lack, it's never the on-screen stuff. It's never even really trying to figure out the time to get here. Like, okay, yeah, you know, people missing Wednesdays, whatever like that. Like that happens, whatever. But everybody has a, you know, like your ratio is way higher as far as you being here than not being here. So it's not like we're having a problem with absences. You know what I'm saying? It's once we get off camera, all of that is required to then take what we have and not only provide exposure, but even build, you know, a fan base, create some type of even just say structure, since that's the word that we're using, that even there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because it's like all of this is great, but it's only great to us and my mama in the comment. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all who's exposed to it. But if we're going to still do this and rearrange times and record 80 in a day and all that type of stuff, all that ain't gonna matter if the other stuff ain't done. And I'm talking about and done to not only, you know, at a high level, but even consistency. And I don't mean high level meaning your skills have to be high. I'm saying like it being intentional about whatever your assignment is for this podcast. Like you're thinking about that more than just whatever day we decide to record. Like that's something that you're actually committed to. Because that's where the lack is. It's not the showing up on camera or figuring out a day to record. Because I think we've all done a phenomenal job.
Well, like Kelly said earlier, you know, following other people, especially other people in similar, you know, genres, situations, religions. I think that's the biggest thing. That's something I learned just by being a comedian, is that if you're on Instagram and you want followers, the best way to do that is to follow other people. Because as soon as you follow them, they follow you. And that's typically the way it goes, especially when it's in specific genres.
I'm saying all that's fine. I'm not talking about what's the strategy of how we go about it. I'm saying everybody understanding the commitment level to the off the field stuff. Like I get it. We can all throw the touchdown pass and score once it's game time. But I'm talking about everything that you have to do off the field.
Just look at Kelly and Janessa. They're both looking down at their phones. They're talking to each other on the side.
Now I'm waiting on my Uber.
I'm just wondering what they're saying.
I would not. I'm waiting on my Uber Eats order. I'm sorry.
Is that what it is?
And my delivery driver canceled. I mean, yeah. So
he canceled? Oh, that's a bummer.
So they had to find a new one.
I wish I could make you something, but
I wish you could too, Terry.
I'm sorry.
You've been in this kitchen before. I haven't.
You know, a little off subject, but you know what? Just never mind. I'm just gonna get on a tangent. Homemade mayonnaise is the best thing in the world. I'm sorry. It's so much better. It's so easy to make. Go ahead. Sorry. My bad.
Like who's bragging on mayonnaise?
I'm not bragging. I'm trying to educate. It's so easy to make and it's so good. It's crazy.
Who cares? Who wants mayonnaise?
You know.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you make a
Here go Janessa. Here go the other cook.
You make a good like spicy mayonnaise, homemade. Oh my god, it makes everything better.
Okay, I just got one question on your tangent, and then we'll go back to what we're talking about.
All right, go ahead.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Remoulade, the sauce that they put on.
Yeah.
Po' boys. Yeah. That's mayonnaise base?
It is a mayonnaise base.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a mayo based.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and
mayo based
aioli's
stuff is good.
Anytime you see aioli on a menu, that's also mayonnaise based.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically aioli's and romulades, they're spicy mayonnaise.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just spicy mayonnaise. That's it.
Yeah, if I got mayonnaise on my bread for a sandwich, it got to be thin spread. If I feel too much gook when I bite into it, I'm gonna puke.
But that's
Right.
because you're buying Hellman's in.
It don't know.
Hellman's
It don't. I don't care.
In a jar.
I don't care. I don't even eat sour cream for that specific reason because sour cream don't have a taste. And when I bite into it and that goop hit me in my mouth, I'll be about to throw up.
Listen.
Okay, why don't you leave
This McDonald's so the McDonald's that I know Rudy know exactly what I'm talking about. The McDonald's on Rockbridge and Deshaun.
Okay, absolutely.
Out of Publix.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I remember I used to like mayonnaise, and then I saw McDonald's on my McChicken do that little thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, they ruined it.
They be heavy with it on the McChicken.
Oh,
Do you know how they put that on, right? They have like a caulking gun.
Yes. It's like the big bag.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not
traumatized.
Good. No.
I'm telling you, I cannot do that. I can't have nothing just like when I bite into something, I cannot have that.
I can't
Especially not know.
I'm telling you,
I will throw up.
I'm telling you
instantly.
If you got an egg and you got some oil, you got mayonnaise. You know, that's all it is.
But that
whatever. Anyway,
I'm gonna make. I haven't bought a jar of mayonnaise. I haven't bought a jar of mayonnaise in. Hey, people like.
It's disgusting. Let's just go back to we got 10 minutes.
I haven't bought a jar of mayonnaise in 10 years in the last year, and I'm telling you, the next time I make it, I'm gonna make a short video. I'm gonna send it to Kelly. I'm gonna teach her some stuff.
Low key. So in talking about segments and talking about the continuation of this podcast, I mean, even if some of it, I know some of it is been wrapped up in our intros. But maybe we do. I know I ain't got nothing to do with the worst ones, but Terry can do some cooking tips. I actually enjoyed that conversation. Again, we got a man that I'm rooting for, and I don't cook, and I could use some tips.
Hey, man, we could tie it back in because blessed are the hands of those that feed us. You know.
Listen, I don't mind that being a segment where Terry gives us 5 minutes on some cooking tips, and then by the end of this, huh?
I say that's not a problem.
Well, actually, on my other podcast, I was going to mention this earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. I
was done. Go ahead.
Yeah. On my other podcast, we have a segment at the end. It's the only we do things segmented like that, and there's a segment on the end called "Words for White People," and that's where I talk to my fellow honkies about maybe evolving their thinking, you know, and how to progress based on what you've learned your whole life versus what you should be learning now, and how to progress and your thinking. And it's been our most popular subject. It's the one that gets clipped the most. It's the ones that get shared the most. So segments I'm totally for, you know, because we got a perfect balance for segments here. We got 2 women, 2 men. You know, it's all multiracial, it's all multi-generational, you know, because you got me, the old guy, and then you got Rudy, the young guy, and then we got the 2 ladies in the middle. Like, I think it's well, I'm
me, Kelly, and
careful
Janessa
for
are
what?
actually around the same age.
Yeah.
I'm old. There.
Well, I'm just saying that as far as we're concerned, segmenting ourselves.
Nah, I think I liked it because I
think there's room for it.
Those moments where I feel like we've consistently been most engaged, it's probably in those, and I'll say for all of us. I know Terry and Rudy know how to put on. I struggle a little bit more with that. But is the times where, you know, we're talking about something that we're passionate about, or we're talking about, you know, we're talking to someone else. Like I enjoyed the weekly ghetto garden.
That was great. I love that.
You know, that was great. And if we just separated it into Janessa has a, you know, and I know the ghetto garden is it dead now?
It is.
The ghetto garden
last year was up and running. It was up and running at this point, and this year There's some weeds in there.
You know, but even like I said, when she would show us the pictures and those things and what, you know, what she made with the stuff, you know, things like that. I feel like if we can liven it up a little bit more, it doesn't always girl, I ain't about to text you my gate code. Call me.
All right. I think your ADD is flaring up.
I'm sorry, my Uber Eats is here. Give me 1 second.
All right. I like what Kelly's saying. I definitely think segments are good, especially when they're regular features and they keep coming around. I think they're the most, even when you look at pop culture, like they're some of the most sought after, some of the most followed things is those regular segments, or even irregular. Like they don't have to be every week. They just have to be, guess what? It's this week. It's time for Kelly's Corner on, you know, how to order food right or whatever. I don't, you know, or Janessa's Ghetto Garden, or, you know, I guess Terry's cooking tips. But whatever it is, it definitely builds an audience because they come back. If they enjoy it, if they liked it the first time, they'll come back and say, oh, here's another thing. Here's another gardening tip. Here's another coffee thing. Here's another cooking tip. You know, it builds the brand.
I agree.
I don't go ahead, Janessa.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead,
No,
Janessa.
go
You've been
for it.
pretty quiet this whole time.
I mean, maybe because I haven't really fully thought it through, but maybe it could be the worst ones where the preacher's kid. So it's always, I think the concept of the podcast has always been life from the PK's perspective. And so from what it seems like Kelly and Terry are saying is just kind of sticking with that same concept, but just expanding it. Life from the PK perspective, a.k.a. our perspective in our daily lives, whatever that may look like. Now, what that segment exactly looks like and how, you know, we format it, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm gathering from what y'all are saying y'all want to do.
Yes, because
well, it's just an option.
I like it because, like, I'm a PK every day. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about food or cooking, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Even though the topic isn't about God per se, or what would Jesus do in this situation, or how does the church respond to this? Like Kelly, Terry, Janessa, Rudy, you know, a part of just who we are PKs. And so I feel like right, if we, like I said, expand it a little bit, we can still have those topics that relate to church or God, but
Sure.
if we expand it a little bit and, you know, go to some interest in some segments, I think it'll just make it a little more engaging.
I 100% agree. And not only that, but like I said earlier in this podcast, when Rudy was like, we've been talking about this for 20 minutes. Yeah, we always spend the first 20 minutes just shooting the bull, I guess is what I'll call it. We're just shooting the BS for the first 20 minutes. Why couldn't 5 minutes of that be a segment for Janessa to talk about coffee, teas, and brews, or, you know, Kelly to talk about how her Uber Eats driver can't figure out how to get into the complex there. You know, why not? Why not? You know, just to be engaging a little bit, and then we can get into the more serious stuff, you know, because once you're hooked, you're hooked. You know, let's think about this like a drug dealer.
And so, right. And so I hear you, Rudy, in terms of, you know, we've never had the issue with showing up or the engagement or whatever. But like I said, but when I think about, yes, I'll show up, but what I think about what will keep me thinking about it and excited about it during the week, that when I get off here at 8:30, I'm not like, oh, okay, good, that's done. I don't have to show up again till 7:30 next week. It is these things, and being more excited and engaged in this hour, I think will keep me more excited Thursday through Tuesday.
Well, let me pose a question to all of you. If we had 5 million followers, right? Okay, that's great. If we actually had 5 million followers, how would you react? Like, what would your reaction be? How? Well, yeah, but again, how would your reaction be? Would you be more prepared? Would you be thinking about it more? Would you be doing more? Would you be researching more? Would you be looking up more? Because in my opinion, this kind of thing, if you want to have 5 million followers, you got to start thinking like you already do, even if it's just Rudy's mom watching, because that's how you get 5 million followers, by treating the ones you do have as if they mean something. Everybody's muted.
Well, yeah,
Everybody's muted. Literally everybody's muted.
Yeah. So once again, guys, all this sounds wonderful. Okay.
Rudy doesn't believe in us.
But to be very, very frank, and I don't know why Frank gets so much credit, but we've had these type of beautiful meetings before, where we've come up with game plans, and we've talked about it, and then we don't ever do it, and then we end up having another meeting, and we have great ideas, and then we don't do it again. Then we have great ideas, and then we don't do it again. And I just want to be very clear on where I stand with this podcast, and where I am very, very uninterested in continuing what we've already done. And I'm not talking about not having segments and everything that y'all have done to splice up the show, which I think sounds great. I'm with all of it. Like, let's do it. Trust me, I am with it. Change the time up. Like I said, let's do 50 on one day, do the segments. If y'all want me to do a dance, I'm with all of it. Like, let's do it. But when it comes down to the off the camera stuff and that part of what it takes to take what all this glorious stuff we put on camera, to take that and actually build the 5 million followers, that's way more than just because we can add segments and still it'd be just my mama watching.
So let me ask you this.
Go for it.
Would y'all be interested? 'Cause I don't even know how much it costs. Like, depending on how much it costs, would y'all be interested in maybe investing in like a social media manager? Because clearly none of us are really good. I've tried it. It's hard. I can say that. And maybe
I looked into it.
Maybe if we're not the ones having to do it, like you said, we'll provide the content, but if it's not reliant upon us, maybe things may work better for us if somebody with more experience and deals with it.
I did look into it about a year ago. I had a friend who had on my other podcast, and he was like, he's an ex-attorney now, sports agent. And he's like, I know a guy who runs this kind of stuff. He could really build you up. You could be something. And he's talking about the other podcast, but I started thinking about this one. So he gave me the contact information at JPI Management, and I did talk to them a little bit about it, because I'm like, this is really a niche thing, and the Christian market's a fairly big one in America. So I think we do have something. It would. The initial investment they asked for was a little rich.
How much was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was more than a little and less than too much. But it was enough. So.
How much is that?
Mid 4 figures. So.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, we could do it. Yeah. And we would probably see a return on investment. It might be able to break even. It just depends on us. Depends on the kind of content we're putting out and what we're willing to do.
We need a fundraiser.
Well, anybody watching this, Rudy's mom, if you want to put up the money,
take up a tithe and offering at the church.
Yeah, can we get an offering?
My mama been watching for 3 seasons and 13 episodes.
All right, I know she has.
She ain't paying for shit.
We all love your mom.
She ain't paying for shit. She done paid her due, and she left our own little comment.
Mm-hmm.
Hell,
because I think Risa stopped watching.
Did she?
I don't know.
Oh,
She's ain't said nothing recently, so I just figured.
Well, you weren't on there to say nothing about
You ain't said nothing to me.
Is Risa still interested in being our social media manager?
Hell no.
Show your loyalty, Risa.
Yeah, it's her fault, right?
That's all. Just blame Risa.
I mean, hey, listen, but so I either way, like once this episode ends, like the days are going to continue. So I don't know if y'all going to figure out on camera or off camera as far as if we going that route or we going to do it. But either way, it has to be done after today, not like, you know, because if we spend or unless we're going to take more weeks off and spend time planning and all this stuff, which, you know, is
well, I'm not going to be here next week. So I'm going to be out the country.
That's true.
Yeah, that's cool. But I'm just saying in general, just in as far as just moving forward. Like, are we, you know what I'm saying? Because
I say, let's do. I don't know. Never mind.
I like she says I'm gonna be out the country, as if they don't have Wi-Fi in Jamaica.
Honey, she ain't trying
yeah, she on vacation though. Yeah, they don't. Oh yeah. No.
I was on vacation in Vegas. I showed up. I'm just saying. Like,
you did from Vegas. I remember.
Well, I mean, that's your fault. Shit.
What made my fault? That's my commitment. You know.
I'm saying that's your fault that you
got committed, like you read about.
You got commitment issues.
No, obviously not. I've figured it.
That's why his Wi-Fi cut about when he said that.
Right.
So as he was trying to lie, guys said, "Shut the fuck." He was not gonna lie on this shit. All right, so
I think we need. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna talk about it off camera. We coming back next week. We coming back in 2 weeks.
Y'all need to see it right now. You tell me, especially you, Kelly.
I like come back in 2 weeks and give me a week to plan.
So Rudy, let me ask you this: if we were,
it's cabbage nasty.
What you say?
I said, do you feel like it? So hypothetically, if we were able to get somebody to run our social media and we switched to a different day that worked, and we were able to come up with the segments and everybody was more engaged, will that satisfy what you feel like you need to see?
I don't know if it's about getting somebody to do it or it's not even, I guess, even just about it just getting done. It's even it getting done, like you said, but with intention. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's one thing to post clips. There's another thing to be intentional about when you're posting, what you're posting, captions.
But that's why I'm saying, like, get somebody who knows that.
For sure. I know, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, but I guess nobody is set on, I guess, a price or even knowing somebody for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I guess to Kelly's point, if we're going to take the week and plan or whatever the case may be, then I guess we can set a deadline of when we would need to either make a decision like, okay, we can afford to do this or we can't. You know what I'm saying? Because if we can't, then we're still back to us. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm just saying. Like, if we can get somebody to do it, sure. But right this second, we're not decided on that. And so,
well, that was my next question was, does anybody know of anybody? Like, just off the top of their heads, or is this something that we would have to go?
I honestly don't even have probably whatever they're going to want. Because I pay $25 a month just for this StreamYard every month. And that's, I ain't gonna say that's like kicking my ass or nothing, but I noticed that $25 coming out.
So then my next question is, because I'm just trying to, I'm literally trying to find the solution. So it's not even, it's, okay, so this was an option, but if that doesn't work out and we have to work within ourselves, like, how are we supposed to get to that level when none of us really are social media extraordinaires like that? Like, I know for me, it takes a lot to kind of try to come up with a caption to do that on a consistent basis, where for someone else, it might take all of 10, 15 minutes. But for me, it might take like a whole hour and a half. And, trying to commit an extra hour and a half for one post, That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't sound efficient to me. So like, how do we become more efficient when we don't even know? When we don't have the skill set to even do it.
I hear you. So once again, so there is the option to pay for somebody or whatever, but that's still a big if. But if one of us have to do it, I mean, I'm definitely no genius at social media, but I know how to post on social media. But it's also, even when I was doing it, to even the point you've made before, Janessa, I stopped, I guess, even really caring about doing it so much because all the other factors weren't as consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if it was something that, you know, you may have taken, I know even like with Janessa, like you've gotten a bunch of no's when it came down to trying to get guests and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there's been difficulties there, but it does make it easier to build the social media, even to the point of what y'all said earlier, when we have guests on, and then what Instagram allows you to do is you can share whatever clips they're in, you know, them as a collaborator or whatever they call it. And then it shares on both of y'all page in the reel. So now, you know, all of they people are being privy to the podcast. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be persistent about even getting guests, even if it's people that we don't know, even if they complete strangers. You know what I'm saying? Like, or even like with the topics, like the topics can't be about, you know, what does God think about Donald Trump or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, or what does God think about, you know, anything really? Like, I don't, because I think, Terry, you've even said we don't know what God thinks. You know what I'm saying? It just really just need to just come from our perspective from everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, in every facet, like it's the PK's perspective, even if it's the cooking tips, even if it's the whatever, it's still from you, not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, from whatever, you know. Now if we think, you know, I don't mind do we think if Jesus had morning wood or whatever, because I mean that was funny, you know what I'm saying, whatever. That's I get us being silly, but as far as like us having to always assume what God thinks, like I think, you know, that's just us just talking. But if we can come from our perspective on everything, you know what I'm saying, and maybe even like just say somebody cut you off in traffic and you thought about not beating their ass because you didn't want to embarrass your pastor daddy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All that can be a thing. But I just think if it's going to be that podcast, like everything just needs to be more intentional and consistently intentional. But I'm telling you, for a fact, if we ever reach a point to having another one of these meetings, I'm going to tell you how that's going to go. This shit over, at least for me. Because I'm definitely not having another, let's figure it out. Like the next meeting, there need to be game planning from the progress we've already made, not us still sitting at square one. Because we've been at square one for 3 seasons, 13 episodes.
I disagree. Maybe square two.
No. I'm talking about off the field, off camera. We've been at square one.
Right. Maybe square two. All right. One, can I say this? Whiting is disgusting.
Okay. Fish?
Yes. Okay. I know. Here go Terry.
He's on me. Just go ahead.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Well, anybody else?
So we're taking off next week to plan. It's spring break.
Well, I guess, I mean, Janessa ain't gonna be here anyway. So are we really? So we were taking off 2 weeks because she ain't gonna be here to plan.
Just 1 week. She's
not gonna be here to plan. She gonna be on vacation.
Right. So then we'll just have a meeting.
We're gonna plan without her.
We're not gonna meet next week at all.
You said we taking the week to plan. We're just not recording. That don't mean we need to meet if we planning, right?
What?
So yeah, so we still meeting. We just not recording an episode, but that's still not taking off. Like, so that's what I'm saying. So if we're gonna actually rest, then we still would need a day or whatever it is to plan, to actually have the meeting to plan. Like
right. But it can't be next week because Janessa won't be here. So you're saying the following Wednesday?
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying.
I got you. Okay. I got you. Well, okay.
All right. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks, man. Everybody put your twos up. Fuck your social medias and all that.
Top of the world.